Wing Chun is part of the Jeet Kune Do evolution. I think you have to have it to understand Jeet Kune Do. Well, without Yip Man, there would never been Bruce Lee. And without Bruce Lee, there would never been a Jeet Kune Do. So I think it's important to take the knowledge of the past and try to improve it. Those guys paved the way, and without them, we would not have reached the levels that we are now. Each pioneer adds to the knowledge that we have now. And I think that's why in the Asian society that they looked up to the instructors so much. I trained with other Wing Chun people because I really wanted to see how Wing Chun was taught. So I trained, I have 9 Wing Chun teachers. James Lee makes 8 and Bruce Lee makes 9. He was young, talented, wise for his age. At the Bruce Lee at that time period, might be a little bit on the cocky side at that time period. But he was definitely well-schooled and knowledge beyond his years. He had a high respect for Yip Man, but I was told because he wasn't pure Chinese that sometimes he didn't want to teach Bruce Lee in front of students, so he assigned William Chung and Wang Chung Leong to teach him. And then as time went on, when he came to the United States, he started to evolve on his own. But he had a high respect for Yip Man. There was definitely could see a love there. He knew there was a certain range where Wing Chun worked very effectively. And he knew there was a certain range that Wing Chun didn't work. He says Wing Chun works real well in the bathroom. So he says, if you have a space with a football field and there might be as many as 3 or 4 or 5 people, then maybe another structure might work. So he had a system that worked on the outside where he can sort of hit and go. He developed a system what he calls Qizao without touching. He started to put what worked for him, and that became the structure of his personal Jeet Kune Do. But Wing Chun is still the core. You still start with that. Okay, so the structure in the JKD, we learn to go against right versus right. We learn to go against left versus left, and right versus his left, and left versus right. So pretty much he's still, if he punches and I move, this is block. So it's very much like the Wing Chun structure, 1, 2, and 3. So the basic is, this is 1. See, there's another one on the inside. Another one is 2 hits. Okay, one is split entry to move out. But you can move in any different range, and this is pretty much him. So usually, when he punches that hand, we hit. Okay, he hits to the other side. You can do the same structure on that with the rear hand as you can the front hand. So if you can have one hand in, you can also do it for the rear hand. One hand in, one hand out. If you go in, you come out with the finger jab. On this side, you come out with the finger jab. Most of the techniques rather than using Chung Choi was mainly used for practice, but in reality, the finger jab was exclusively used. If you punch this way, he punches with the rear hand. The shot is already here, 2 and 3. All right? A lot of traditional stuff is like 1 and 2. And you trap the first barrier, trap the second barrier. But he goes across the center line, you need 2. And I'll do it slowly. That's 1, it's 2, 3. The bridging is the thing that makes the difference in the JKD. A lot of the bridging is from here, 1, 2. And a lot of chop toe gyoatsu, back to the back. This is pretty much what JKD structure changed. I have a Wing Chun teacher by the name of Sifu Francis Fong that has worked with me, and he comes in here regularly for the last 11 years giving us Wing Chun material. And I think it's knowing when that material is applicable and when it's not. But definitely it should be taught. That should be part of the education. The sensitivity you see from Chizao, the trapping, I think is very good. The short range punching definitely should be taught. But I can't really agree that it would be the only system that you can use. But it could be a system that might throw a system out that's not used to that type of structure. I liked it, you know, and when you study something, sometimes you go away from it, and then you come back to it with new eyes. But definitely, I think it's a real great system. A lot of times when people see things like a lot of boxers ask me, say, well, nobody fights like this. Why are they doing this on a dummy? So that's a posture. It's a movement in time. It's a transitional movement. A lot of times, if I perform what we call a pak sao and the lob sao, sometimes he will trap my hand down like this. Okay? That's one way. And the other way is he'll trap it together. Now this motion here is the third motion. When you teach, he'll turn or move in. Again, slow motion. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4. You will see this. He'll put the foot like that. And people look at it and say, how do you spar with this? Kickboxer might look at that. This is for close quarter, and it's a movement in time. So when I trap his barrier and I come back, he'll come across and you'll see that the knee, his foot will jam and he can closely over here, see over here, and back. Okay, so that's basically what the movement teaches. A lot of things in the dummy, and they have different meanings. And if you ask different teachers, they have different meanings. Like a good example, on the third one, they go 1, 2, back and hit. Well, actually, all that is this is teaching you how to parry this way. But this one feeds the left hand like this, and you're firing. So I'll do this slowly. See how this one cuts? You move back. That's that motion here. But many people, they don't understand it because it's a dummy. And a dummy is just a training method in it too. This is set 3 in Wing Chun. Okay. This is set 4. And this is set number 5 in Wing Chun. That's Wing Chun, set 3, 4, and 5. Now what I'd like to have him do is just do set 5 in JKD. Traditionally, these were not taught in order in the structure. Notice the distance he's coming in, breaking in. This is the component parts of the JKD. And there are exercises, not in combat, that they're going to be in this order, but they're just some of the components needed to learn the Jeet Kune Do. When he first came to the country, he could win everything via the straight blast, or what they call the Jik Chung Choi. As time went on, he changed that thought process, and he started to research, you know, and experiment, and after that he would create. So a lot of that material, I think, was being changed almost on a, I'm not exaggerating when I said on a monthly basis. He was always changing the structure, always refining it, and making it more functional. That's what he was trying to educate me. And says you can't really follow a particular way. You have to find out what works for you. That's Jeet Kune Do. And then final analysis. That's why people ask me, can you teach it? And I said, yeah, I can teach it. Can you standardize it? No, I can't standardize it. Because you can standardize by principle and concept, but it still has to fit the individual. You can't force a person, you know. There's certain type of skills and limitations we have with the body, so you have to fit it. In martial arts, the same way, right? What works well for one individual cannot work well for another. Our geometry of our body, some are bigger, some are smaller. So I'm going to put you, this structure here can be right to right, which is like that. It can be taught left to left. It can be taught right to left. And it can be taught left to right. So what I'm going to have you do is, so the low jab, low, and you back this. Go out to the kicking range. We'll hold it. That's usually the first drill. This is to teach you hand range, okay, to kicking range. All right. The next one is you go to this position. You throw the rear punch, you hook, you cross, kick. This is to teach you to go from trapping range to hand range out to kicking range. Now the next one, if you go trapping range to kicking range to hand range to kicking range. Now, where we go into the Wing Chun structure is when once we have the hand will answer like that, he'll come across and he'll grab, he'll back fist, and he'll go 1, 2, 3. This is now where part of the Wing Chun was used. You go down, I raise yourself, you pops out gradually, and 1, 2, 3, and you kick. And if you chop joy, okay, come up, pops out, double pops out, come back, pit, and 1, 2, 3, out to the range. That's pretty much what JKD, and concise. Because this is already hand range. He might defend like this, if he's a karate man. He might defend like this, if he's a karate man. Boxers might defend like this. Only thing, usually they're in a left lead. We learn how to do this right lead and left lead. So if I respond with my front hand, he hits with the back fist. Notice that he traps that barrier, comes back, and now he goes out to the kicking range, right? Because the man went. Now the other range is he stays. Now this is more of a Western boxing approach, going out to the kicking range. This one now, he's in trapping range, but I move out to kicking range, hand range, and then kicking range. Okay? Now this one now, because maybe I can't back up, I respond with the rear hand, and then 1, 2, 3, and then back. The other one, he responds here, but my hand goes up. He traps the first barrier, second barrier, and 1, 2, 3, and then back. The other one, if you could see closely, see the trap is right here. He's trapped on the inside. I respond, 1, 2, 3, and in a nutshell, that's JKD. That's Bruce Lee. He was always changing the structure, and every time he changed it, it was for the better. Without Yip Man, there would never been Bruce Lee. Without them, we would not have reached the levels that we are now.